the Google Pixel 8 Pro or the Samsung S23 Ultra. Which one should you choose? Which one do you consider better? Well, I have my choice which one I like better, but I'm just gonna put my opinion out here, compare the two, and you can make your own choice. First, both of these devices were released in 2023, so this is a fair comparison far as years are concerned. Both of these are also flagship top tier devices if you're into flagships. Everybody's not into flagships. Some people like budget phones, some people like mid-range phones. It just depends on you. But these are flagship phones. Also, what's good about these devices, both unlock for all carriers and they will work on any carrier in this country. Unlike, unfortunately, a lot of Chinese phones, they won't work with all your carriers. They'll work with some, but they may not work with all. But with these two, they'll work with all your carriers. Also, with these devices, I don't know about now, but these are the type of devices you can actually finance through your carriers, or maybe through what's that place, Best Buy. You can get it from there, or you can pick these up from Amazon, because they're definitely going to be a lot cheaper than what they were when they first were released. Okay, then when they were first released, very, very expensive, especially the S23 Ultra. Pixel, not too much. I think this 8 Pro was around, I think it was around 900, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. But I know the S23 Ultra, I believe it was $1,200, if I'm not mistaken. But you don't have to worry about that, because these are a year old, so they're not going to be that price. I mean, unless you get them from Samsung directly, they'll probably still charge you retail. Or if you have something to trade in, you could trade in something and get the price a lot lower. All right, now as far as price, now I'm just talking as far as Amazon is concerned. With the S23 Ultra, the lowest I've seen it for was $629, and that's the 256 gig variant, which I think is only one variant. I believe it is 256. That's the minimum, then 512, and then a terabyte. So that's 256 unlocked, refurbished, in excellent condition on Amazon.com. Now, when it comes to the Pixel 8 Pro, the lowest I've seen it for, now check this out. I'm trying to tell y'all, you might want to jump on this if you like pixels. $407 for the 256 gig variant. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Pixel is still coming out with 128 gigs, because I believe they start out 128 gigs on the 9 Pro, which I think is utterly ridiculous. So that's for 256. So that's a really good deal. $407 for 256 gigs. You got to jump all over that if you're into Pixel devices and you want a Pixel phone. This device is also unlocked, refurbished, in excellent condition on Amazon.com. So you got $629 for the S23. That's the lowest I've seen it for. And of course, the price goes up from there. And $407 for the Pixel 8 Pro, unlocked, excellent condition. Both are refurbished in excellent condition on Amazon.com. And don't forget, if you purchase these, they give you 90 days. So if you have any issues, major issues with it, you can return it for a full refund, or they'll just give you another one. Or say if you get the devices and it just so happens that you don't really care for them, you don't like them, well, as long as you do it within that 90 days, they'll refund all your money, no questions asked. So you can't beat that. 3 months with the device. You can play with it, do whatever you want with it. Just don't damage it. And you can return it if you don't like it or if you start having issues with it. So that's Amazon refurbished, their deal when it comes to their devices. And I love that 90-day thing. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the design. So of course, these are very different when it comes to design. You got the visor look and you got the waterfall look with the cameras on the left. So you got one going across and you got one coming straight down. Which one do you like best? Now, I love both of these designs. I'm gonna be honest with you, but if you made me pick one, I'm gonna go with the Pixel 8 Pro because this is so different than anything out there on the market. It's just different. There's no other phone that look like this. But this is kind of like, I don't know, kind of like the norm. Either is now either the cameras are on one side on the left, or you got this huge camera circle, and that's more so with those Chinese phones like Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo. They go with that big round camera on the back. But I like both of them a lot. But if I had to choose, I would go with the Pixel 8 Pro as far as which design I like best. Next, let's talk about build quality. Now, not getting super technical in the build quality. I believe they both have Gorilla Glass 2, if I'm not mistaken. But when it comes to comfort in the hand, which one is comfortable? Which one is more comfortable than the other? Now, both of these devices feel extremely premium in the hand without a case. Now, what you see, I got cases on here because, for me, with cases on devices, I can handle the phone a lot better. It's not slippery because my hands are usually very, very dry. So every phone is super slippery, no matter if it's a matte finish or not. It's just slippery because my hands are always very, very dry. So now, but if you're a type of person that just don't like cases and you want to use your phone without a case, which one feels the most comfortable to me? It would definitely be the Pixel 8 Pro because it has that soft, velvety, matte feel on the back of this device that I really like. And the corners around it, unlike the S23 Ultra where the corners are very squared off. So this is not the most comfortable phone to hold in your hand without a case. It's just not. With a case, no problem. All day with a case, no problem, because sometimes you can get a case that can round off the edges of the phone. But because I got this this clear case, it doesn't stab me. And also keep in mind with these displays, the S23 Ultra is taller and is much wider than the 8 Pro. So when it comes to a device being a little more one-handed friendly, I got to go with the 8 Pro because it's not as wide as the S23 Ultra. Now, I could wield the S23 Ultra with one hand, no problem, except when it comes to texting. I have to put it in that, let me show you what I mean by that. I have to put it in this mode when I'm typing, that small thing, I got to make it small where I could reach everything because my fingers are not long. They're kind of short. So I got to put it in this one-handed mode. And that's nice that you have that option. So long as I have it in one-handed mode, I could, text with, one finger and be fine with it. So, so when it comes to build quality, both are excellent. But when it comes to comfort and you're not going to use a case, I would go with the Pixel 8 Pro. Next, let's talk about button placement. Now, this is a no-brainer for me. Now, I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, the button placement on the Pixel is the worst because the power button is above the volume rockers, and I hate that placement. I hate it with a passion. This is the way, to me, it's supposed to be. The power button should be the first button, and then the volume rockers above it. That's the way it should be. The way the Pixel does it is just stupid, and I don't like it. And they're the only manufacturer that do this with their button placement, and I really wish they would stop. If they just doing this to set themselves apart, that's not the type of thing they should do to set themselves apart. It's just stupid button placement, and I hate it. I actually outright hate it. So button placement, I'm going with the S23 Ultra. Next, the always-on display. Now, both of these have a always-on display. However, when it comes to always-on display, this is a no-brainer. It's the Samsung. It's brighter, it's bigger, it's way, way, way more customizable. Basically, the Pixel is not customizable at all. It just isn't. Seriously, it isn't. You're not going to see, you got these widgets. Only thing I don't like about the Samsung is that the notifications are so small and they're all white. but you do get to keep the fingerprint sensor on all the time. And you can see just looking at both which one is more brighter, more vivid, and easier to see. I mean, that's easy. Look at the fingerprint sensor on the Pixel compared to the fingerprint sensor on the S23 Ultra. It's night and day. So when it comes to always on display, I'm definitely going with the Samsung, because I believe Samsung has the best always on displays in the business. Even though they changed it, I don't like the way they changed it, where those notifications are super small and they're all white. I hate that. But you could but the always on display overall is just so customizable. So many things you can do with the always on display with the Samsung. All right, next, let's talk about face unlock. This is another thing that's a no-brainer for me. Now, but this one is a little different. Let me tell you why. So with the Pixel, you're getting a face unlock, of course, but you're getting secure face lock. So you could basically use this with your banking apps. Okay. You could also use this with any app if you want to use your face to open up the app. And I will say this, in good lighting, this fingerprint sensor is definitely better than the S23 Ultra. Easily. Okay. The fact that it's secure and in good lighting conditions, it's way better than the S23 Ultra, in my opinion, based on my experience. But in low light and no light, this face unlock is absolute trash. It will not open the phone. The phone will not open. So I don't like that. It's just garbage without, in low light or no light, it's not going to open. But when it comes to good lighting and also being secure, I definitely like the Pixel 8 Pro when it comes to the face unlock. Of course, with Samsung, it's not secure, but it will open in low light and in no light. In complete darkness, this will open. But it's very, very inconsistent, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So it's just hard for me when it comes to which one's better, because they both have their flaws. So I don't know. I can't pick what. Maybe I'll just go with the Pixel, only because I could use it with my banking app, and I like that convenience where I could just go into my banking app, look at the phone, and it open my banking app right up. I like that. Because it's secure. I like that. So, but like I said, in low light and no light, Samsung's going to open every time. All right. Let's talk about the in-display fingerprint sensor. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the Samsung is better. It's just better. It's way more accurate, way more consistent. I don't know what the deal is on this 8 Pro with the fingerprint sensor, because on the 6 Pro, it's almost 100% accurate. I have zero issues with that fingerprint sensor. No matter how I put my finger on that sensor, it opens. Like, I have zero issues, but the 8 Pro is just not that good. It's just not for me. And I think I did 2 or 3 different fingerprints, and it's just not opening up the way I like. Like, it's just not consistent. So maybe, some software updates will make it better. But when it comes to the in-display fingerprint sensor, I'm definitely going with the S23 Ultra. Plus, the S23 Ultra uses an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. Now, I know the 9 Pro finally has an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, but we're not talking about the 9 Pro here. We're talking about the 8 Pro. So when it comes to fingerprint sensors, definitely going with the S23 Ultra. Next, let's talk about the displays. Now, I'm not going to get super technical with the displays either, but I'm going to turn both on, and they're both at 100% brightness. Now, both of these devices are Quad HD resolution, HDR10 plus, 120 hertz. But the Samsung is a 6.8-inch display, and the Google is 6.7. But you can still see that the Samsung has a much wider display than that of the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Some people are going to like the bigger canvas of the S23 Ultra. Some going to like the more one-handed ability or capability of the Google Pixel 8 Pro. So it just depends on you. And if you want a phone that's a little more rounded, a little more comfortable to hold in the hand, It's up to you. Me, I prefer the bigger canvas because when I'm watching content on this device, it looks like I got a small TV in my hand, and I like that. Okay. Now, when it comes to which display overall is better, I got to go with the Samsung. It's just Samsung, they just make the best displays. I mean, their display is just unbelievable. Just so beautiful. But when it comes to brightness, the Google Pixel 8 Pro is definitely gets brighter than that of the S23 Ultra. So when it comes to brightness, you definitely gonna get a brighter display. If you like your display up 100% brightness like I do, definitely going with the 8 Pro. But overall quality, I'm going with the S23 Ultra when it comes to the displays. But they're both very, very beautiful. Vivid, sharp colors, just absolutely beautiful. But Samsung set the standard for AMOLED displays, and of course, a lot of people buy their displays from Samsung. Whether Google does, I'm not sure. I don't know, but Samsung displays are just off the hook. Next, let's talk about the dual stereo speakers. Both of these devices come with dual stereo speakers, but man, it's not even close on this one. Samsung speakers on here, they sound good. Don't get me wrong, they're balanced pretty well and they have good volume, but man, the Pixel 8 Pro completely blows the S23 Ultra speakers away. I mean, from the 6 Pro to this, it's like night and day. I just can't believe how great these speakers are on this device. Now, of course, I've seen, YouTube videos where a lot of content creators were saying the speakers were just okay. Everybody just likes things, they what they hear is different than what I hear. I don't know, everybody just has their own taste when it comes to what they want to hear when it comes to audio. But I'm just talking about for me, for loudness and for bass and all of that, it's definitely the 8 Pro when it comes to the dual stereo speakers. It's just blowing the S23 Ultra speakers away. Next, let's talk about battery life. Now, the Google Pixel 8 Pro does have a 5050 milliamp hour battery, and S23 Ultra has a 5000 milliamp hour battery. But this is not even close. I'm getting 2 to 2.5 days with the Pixel 8 Pro, and I'm only good for a day with the S23 Ultra. The standby time on the Pixel 8 Pro is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I lose 1% overnight. And this thing just sips battery, whether I use the phone or not, it just sips battery. So when it comes to battery life, it's the Pixel 8 Pro hands down. Next, both of these devices are IP68 water and dust resistant. So that's excellent. If you're worrying about that being around water, worrying about dust, no worries. Top of the line when it comes to water and dust resistance. They both have IP68. Next, let's talk about battery charging speeds. Now, the 8 Pro comes with 30-watt wired charging, 23-watt wireless charging, and 4.5-watt reverse wireless charging. While the S23 Ultra comes with 45-watt wired charging, 15-watt wireless charging, and 4.5-watt reverse wireless charging. So when it comes to the wired charging, the Samsung is going to charge a lot faster because it's 45-watt wired charging. So I can charge this device fully in probably like an hour and 5, hour and 10 minutes, something like that. And with the Pixel 8 Pro, this fully charges in an hour and 25 minutes. So, of course, both are slow to me compared to my Vivos and my Xiaomis. Those phones charge in like 30 minutes. So I have phones that charge way faster than these. So this is slow charging to me with both of these. But when it comes to the wired charging, the S23 Ultra is faster. When it comes to the wireless charging, the Pixel is faster because it's 23-watt wireless charging, while the Samsung is only 15 watts. And it's been this way since the Note 9, which I think is a disgrace. Since the Note 9, they have not bumped up the wireless charging speeds on their devices, and I think that's pathetic, especially this calling itself an Ultra. And reverse wireless charging is identical, 4.5 on both. Next, let's talk about performance. When it comes to performance, honestly, and I'm gonna be completely honest, and I keep it 100, you guys, I'm going with the Pixel 8 Pro. Now, the difference is you have to use the Pixel launcher, because now normally, as you can see here, this is the Pixel launcher. Okay, I set it up. This is the way I got it set up, and when I use it, it's very smooth. Everything comes open super fast. When I come out of apps and go back into apps, everything is really smooth. Everything comes on really fast. It's very, very smooth. And you can see how fast the apps are loading up. The performance is nice. I really like it a lot. Really, really nice. Oh, I don't need, that's the banking. Go back to Facebook. Boom. See, everything is super fast, and you can see the smoothness when I go back. Now, when I'm using Nova Launcher, which is what I use on this device, practically 100% of the time, the performance is not the same. It's not smooth like that. With certain things is like a little slight delay. And trying to go back, to the home screen, you're not going to get that fluidity that you get with the Pixel launcher. So if you're using Nova Launcher, just know you're not going to get the same performance nor smoothness and fluidity that you would get with the Pixel launcher. So just keep that in mind. The reason why I use the Nova Launcher, because I don't want this Google bar down here. You can't get rid of it. You can't move it. This weather thing up here, I don't want that. The at a glance, I don't like that. I want to put my own weather thing there, but you can't remove it. So the only way I could, take care of that, and I could do it now since I've already showed y'all the smoothness, I'm going to go back to my Nova Launcher. You see that my setup is very different. You go into apps, go in default apps, and you can see right here, it says Home Pixel Launcher. I'm going to Nova Launcher. Now, there's other launchers out there, but Nova Launcher is the one that I've been using for years, and it makes everything a little more customizable too, as opposed to the Pixel launcher. They don't let you, their phones are not highly customizable. They're just not. I hope they, at some point get a little more customizable. Now you can see my whole setup is different. No Pixel, Google bar down here. I got my own weather app up here. That's my setup. This is my setup. This is the way I like it. So when it comes to performance, I like it just better. Now, I'm not using the Nova Launcher on Samsung. I haven't used the Nova Launcher on Samsung phones in a while, probably years, because their software is so much better now. I don't have to use Nova Launcher, and also it's super, super ridiculously customizable. So there's no need for Nova Launcher on a Samsung, not to me. Okay, but the performance on this device can be inconsistent, and this is, I've been, updating it and things like that. I'm still waiting for One UI 7, but it's fast. Things open up fast. Being fast is not the issue. It's the consistent smoothness that this phone lacks. Sometime when I'm going back out, sometimes there's slight delays, and I don't like that. It's just not always smooth. But it is fast, as you can see. It opens up apps pretty quickly. So speed is not the issue. It's that consistent, smooth fluidity. I just don't get that with this device. I just don't. Now, most of the time I do, but just not as consistent as the Pixel 8 Pro. That's the difference. So with performance, I gotta go with the Pixel. It's just more consistent. Next, customization. This is not even close. Do we even really need to even talk about this? It's not close. When it comes to customization, the Samsung S23 Ultra destroys the Pixel 8 Pro. It's not even close, especially when you have Good Lock, which takes this phone's customization to a whole nother level. Now, you could just basically customize this device however you want. You cannot do that with the Pixel. You just cannot. Like you got to download a third party launcher if you want to do a lot of, crazy stuff, but you can't do that with the Pixel launcher. This is using One UI, and I can customize this phone however I want. And of course, you got stuff like edge panels, edge lighting. I mean, it's just so many features and different things you get with the Samsung. So when it comes to customization, hands down, it's the S23 Ultra with that One UI and good lock. Next, let's talk about software. So it's kind of in the same realm here. You got the Pixel launcher, so it's more like, I don't know if it's more like stock Android anymore. Some people saying it's not really stock Android like it used to be, but it's a lot more closer to it than One UI, and the One UI ain't nowhere near stock Android because this is one of the most customizable, if not the most customizable skin on the market. Now I don't know if it's the most, but it's one. It might be number two. It's either number one or number two. I don't know which one is, but this thing is highly customizable. But One UI, I would choose One UI over the Pixel software every day and twice on Sunday, maybe 3 times on Sunday. Easy call for me. Even though when it's about the simplicity, if you want simplicity, you want the Pixel. If you want more of that iPhone type of feel and kind of usage, then you want the Pixel. You're not going to get that with One UI. And from what I was told, I don't know how true this is, but from what I was told from YouTube creators, that more people that switch from iPhone switch to a Pixel because the Pixel is supposed to be the equivalent of iOS and the iPhone, for as far as simplicity is concerned. That's what I hear from other YouTube creators. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't know. Okay. But for me, I'm definitely going with One UI easily. Next, let's talk about software and security updates. So most of that are into, phones and into tech, that the Pixel give their phones 7 years of software and security updates. And it started with the 8 Pro on last year. It started. So this device has 6 more years of software and security updates coming to it, while the S23 only has 2 more years of software updates and 3 more years of security updates. So you're still going to be good on either device. Okay. But you're going to get longer support with the Pixel. And when the newest version of Android get released, you're going to get it first. Because remember, Google makes Pixel and Google made Android. So just like iPhone, when they get it, everybody gets it at the same time. Same thing with the Pixel. You're going to get the latest version of Android first before Samsung and all these other manufacturers get the newest version of Android. Next, let's talk about special features now. We're not going to get super heavily detailed in this. I'm just going to name just a few special features that I actually use. Of course, both of these phones are loaded with special features, but I want to name the main ones I think that most people are probably going to use, or I'll say the ones that I'm more likely to use and use on a regular basis. First, I'm going to start with the Pixel 8 Pro. Now, this is a feature that, man, I hope at some point other Android manufacturers can get this into their software, the speech to text. Now, don't get me wrong. You can speech to text on pretty much any Android phone. Okay. The difference is you could say send and it'll send the message without you hitting the send button. You can't do that with any other Android device out there on the market, as far as I know. I don't know of any other manufacturer that gives you that option. When you can go in here and speak your text and then say send, and it sends it without you even touching the button, y'all just don't understand how awesome that is until you experience it. I'm telling you, you just don't know. And the accuracy of the speech to text on top of that is flawless. It's flawless. So that's one of my favorite features of the Pixel 8 Pro. Next, the call screening. When you know how a lot of people get a lot of spam calls. Man, when you could screen them like you can on this thing here, you could press and basically the Google Assistant or have a conversation with whoever's calling, and you could just respond and do things, and you can find out who it is. It is that is so freaking all. I really wish all manufacturers had that option on their phone too. That is doggone. I'm telling you that I can't tell you how awesome that is. You'd have to experience it. And like I said, if you heavily into pixels and you like the simplicity of Android, get yourself like if this is too much for you and you want dirt cheap, you can go down to like just a little over 200 and just get the 6 Pro, and you'll get all the features and all the software that this has, all the same, all the AI, everything. You're not going to be missing out on anything, and that phone's going to get 2 more years of software and security updates. So if you want to experience what I'm talking about, speech to text and call screening, get yourself a Pixel. And the last thing, the play now thing, like it's always, the phone is always listening. So if it's music being played in the background, it'll basically pop up on your lock screen what song is playing, and then you can save it. Like that's really cool. Even though I don't really use it like that, but I have used it a little bit, in the past here and there. It's just kind of cool when you're somewhere and you hear a song, but you're like, man, I love that song, but I just can't remember, the artist. You don't have to worry about it. You got to play now, activate it. It'll tell you exactly the name of the song and who the artist is. I love that. That's awesome. Now let's talk about the three. I'll say for me it was like four. I think what was that, one, two? Yeah, four features on the S23 Ultra. Main feature that I really really love about this device. The first one is Samsung Dex. And I know any of you that are Samsung fanboys or fangirls, you already know about Samsung Dex and how awesome that is. When you could turn your TV into like get a laptop experience on a screen, or your TV, or your computer, or whatever, and you get it as wireless, or you could plug it in. That's awesome. And if you use it, you can still use your phone like you normally use it, but still using Samsung Dex at the same time. That's a pretty awesome feature. Other manufacturers are trying to adopt something similar, but it's still not as good as Samsung. Next, the S Pen. Come on, y'all. Now, I don't use the S Pen hardly, but man, it's nice to know that it's there if you need it. It's small, but it just does so many different things. You have so many different options. Of course, I'm not going to get into all of them because it's just too many to speak of. But the S Pen is pretty awesome, especially if you like to write on the screen, for a quick note. You can write on the screen while it's still dark. You could interact with your calendar and write and circle stuff. Like, it just does so much. You could take photos with it. You can control your phone with it, just waving it around, going from one video to the next, turning your music off, turning it on, taking pictures with it, scrolling, just not even touching the screen, and being able to make your screen scroll up and down. Like, the S Pen can just do so many different things. So the S Pen is one of those things that really sets this phone apart from many of the phone on the market. Next, Samsung Notes. Like, that is a must. I have to have that app because I do all of my reviews. That's where I keep all of my notes and everything for all of my reviews. And also when I'm teaching the Bible, or I have to preach at my church, I use Samsung Notes. That's it. That is a must app for me. I have to have that app. And the last, Secure Folder. I love Secure Folder. I use it all the time. I have things in there as far as videos or photos that I don't need anybody to have access to. I put it in there. You only can open it up with a code or my fingerprint, and I don't have to worry about giving my phone to somebody, letting them use it, and worry about them seeing things they don't need to see. Love that. So those are the special features on the Samsung that I love a lot. I love a lot. I wish they had speech to text, and I wish they had that call screen, and that would be cool. All right. And the last but not least, the cameras. Now, I never get heavily into the cameras. I just know what I like based on what I see. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to take long on this, and I'm not going to get into 50 megapixels, 12 megapixels. That don't matter. When it comes to photos and videos and being consistently great, I'm going with the S23 Ultra. These cameras are consistently great day or night in the video. What I found with the 8 Pro, cameras are phenomenal, but not consistent. Just not consistent. The video is really, really good compared to the 6 Pro. The 6 Pro, the video was pretty choppy and it wasn't really, it wasn't very stable. But they did a great job with the video on here. It's a lot smoother. But the photos can be, just inconsistent. You get two great photos, you get three kind of average photos. It's like that's been my experience with this device. Now maybe, excuse me, maybe with some more time, some more updates, maybe it'll get better. But it does have a great camera, but just not consistent. I had to go in and enhance quite a few different photos to unblur them and also make them look a little better. I don't ever have to do that with the cameras of the S23 Ultra. Never. Okay, so when it comes to overall cameras, I'm definitely going with the S23 Ultra when it comes to that. All right, so at the end of the day, I highly recommend both of these devices. If you want a more simplistic, Android device where it's more simple and you want all the Google software, and I didn't talk about AI because I don't really care about AI. I know what's in there. I know it's cool. And they both got, some nice AI. I think the Google has more AI than Samsung. I'm not really sure. I have to check again because I know the Pixel just added some more AI features just recently. I just got an update just last week. So I don't know which one has the most AI. I didn't go in there and really count it or whatever. But when it comes to just Google software and then all the features that come with the software, this has more of it than the Samsung. It just has tons and tons and tons of Google, special features and stuff you could do with the software and AI. But Samsung, when it comes to customization, and now they have AI too, look, you're going to get a great experience with either one of these devices. You just is. Now, battery, you're going to get better battery life on the 8 Pro. You're going to get a brighter display on the 8 Pro. You're going to get a secure face unlock on the 8 Pro. And you're going to get better speakers on the 8 Pro. But with the Samsung, you're going to get better cameras. You're going to get way, way more features, more customization, better fingerprint sensor. And I think just better. I don't know. I can't say better software. I like the software better for me, but both got great software. But as far as performance, you're going to get better performance on the 8 Pro. That's just been my experience. But at the end of the day, which one I would choose, I'm going with the S23 Ultra because I prefer the software of One UI. I'm just a Samsung fanboy. I just love One UI. I'm not really a stock Android type of person. I mean, this is cool. This is better than what it used to be. It used to be a whole lot more boring. It's not as boring as it used to be, but still, it's not One UI. Like that edge panels, the edge lighting, good lock, like it's just so many ways you can customize this device. I gotta have my One UI. I need Samsung Notes. I like that S Pen, Samsung Dex. I love all that stuff, honestly. Better always on display. I'm sorry, bigger display. I'm going with Samsung. If I had to pick between these two, I'm definitely going with the S23 Ultra. But you have to make up in your mind which one of these you think is best for you. I can't tell you that. Okay, you heard me talk about both in key areas. It's up to you to decide. But I would take the S23 Ultra myself. But this is a beast of a phone too. Don't get it twisted. I love this color. I love how soft this is. And it's a little easier to wield than the S23 Ultra because you can see it's not as big. And, the corners are rounded. But that's my comparison between the Pixel 8 Pro and the S23 Ultra. I love both of these devices. I don't have to choose because I have both of them. And I'm going to continue to use both of them. This is my main device. My number one SIM card never, ever comes out of this device. With my second number and my third number, I'm always swapping out phones. Okay. And my favorite phone. Now, this ain't, even though this is my main phone, this ain't my favorite phone. Y'all already know, if you see my video, my OnePlus 12 is my 2020 24 phone of the year and my favorite phone, period. The OnePlus 12. But it's just certain things on this phone when it comes to the software that I just have to have. So thank you all for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. Happy Merry Christmas and Kwanzaa and whatever you celebrate this Wednesday. Happy holidays to each and every one of you. And thank you so much for your support throughout this whole entire year. All right. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying well, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.